Well, I think a lot of her not doing anything has to do with maybe the agreement she worked out with the UFC before she decided to come back and do this fight. She'll be able to probably better speak on that. But for her, I think that she's a very sensitive person, and she takes everything personal. And one thing that she doesn't understand, or she had a hard time understanding, is the fact that people could like you, but they also, I mean, there's another side to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are not really your friends. And she took it really personal when the same media sources that wrote really well about her when she did good didn't do so when she lost. And she took that really, really personal. So she's now to the point where she's like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm done with the media. And she's really hard on the media. But the media is just doing what they do, and it's just that, they cover it, and they give the story that people want to hear. And sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and you got to be willing to take it. And that's just the reality of the sport. That's just the reality of the sport. It's the reality of any sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, any sport, where you step into the spotlight to have a great performance, you also got to understand you may not have a great performance, and you got to understand that you may be being criticized for what you didn't do or what you could have done or whatever. And another part to that is I think that she is not trying to be hung by the same words that she was last time. If you recall, Ronda going into the fight with Holly Holm, she was uber confident. She was almost disrespectful. No one could be champion as well as me, and just her arrogance was kind of disgusting. And I think those are the words that kind of ate at her when she lost, because everyone brought it up, and now I think she's to the point where she's like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to give you a sound bite to hang me with afterwards if I don't win this fight.
So she's built up this enemy, and she's come up with a reason for why she lost the last time around, and I feel like she's bearing the lead, and a lot of the media is bearing the lead. In any other sport, if you had a coach that you thought was subpar and you weren't getting the results at the highest level, the coach becomes the story. Is that not the story here, Rashad? That maybe she should have either bounced around to some different mentors, or do you want to defend Edmond? Because I have a tough time doing it.
Yeah, I think that I don't knock her loyalty, but at the same time, you almost have to as a fighter, you have to almost understand the fact that it's great to be loyal to your coaches, but understand this one fact, and the fact is, this is your opportunity, and this is your time to shine. This is your spotlight. At the end of the day, the coach can always have other fighters and always, have another rise of fame, coach another fighter. But at the end of the day, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, and you say, well, it's because of my coaches, no one cares about that. You know what I'm saying? No one cares about if your coach made a mistake, because it's up to you as an athlete to say, you know what, you're good for me and you're not good for me. And I think, personally, maybe she should have bounced around. But here's a problem with bouncing around if you're Ronda Rousey. You have a huge target on your back no matter where you go to, and you don't know, you almost don't want to try out new training gyms because you don't want to have to feel like the new kid on the block. And being a new kid on the block of Ronda Rousey, it's a huge target on your back.